Yo, yo, yo. Back with another one, y'all. What's up? Make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here, man. We is on a roll today. Man, these is my receivers, man. I'm out here routing them up for y'all. And these is going to be 5 receivers, I think, that in the draft, man, or some absolute diamonds. To get guys who you may know of, some guys you may not know of. Some guys that absolutely slipped due to injury or due to just long careers in college football alone. And with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start getting this pulled up so that we can go ahead and start it off right. So we're gonna start with none other than Nick Nash. Let's go. Now, Nick Nash, as I can see, 6'3", 195 pounds from Cali, one of them Cali boys, man. So, he had 104 receptions, 1,382 yards, 16 touchdowns. He was the go-to guy for San Jose State. Playmaking ability, 50-50 ball play ability, showed some speed. I know Nick Nash is one of the guys who they're waiting to see run at the combine. If Nick Nash clocks in at a 4.4 or above, he'll probably jump into, second, early second, late first round type of category. He may shake some things up. Because you got to take a guy like him. Um, he's right in that he's flirting with that stratosphere of T Mac. You know what I mean? With me, body type, ability, speed wise, and everything else. Now he has spent some time in college football. He's been in college football since 2019. However, he's been with one team, and that's San Jose State. That says a lot, first of all, about this young man. He has gotten better every single season. He has gotten better the more time. He stayed down, stayed committed, developed out there, and every single season he's gotten better, right? For his career, he's had 163 receptions total, 2,212 yards, averaging about a little 13.6 yards per catch, 25 touchdowns for his career. Longest was 58 yards. Could run the ball a little bit. Not too well this year. He had -9 yards running the ball this year, but can run the ball. He only had one attempt this year, by the way. In 2021 was one of his decent years. He ran the ball a lot in 2021. He had 68 carries for 385 carries, average of 5 yards a carry, and he had a touchdown, right? And his long was 48, so the guy can run. His vision is good, right? Looks like he even plays some QB. Looks like Nick, like is he a converted QB? I'm thinking that's what he was. I'm thinking, yeah, Nick Nash is converted from QB, bro. Like, he's played QB. Nick Nash has played quarterback. Moved to receiver, meaning that he sees the offense different than other receivers. A very smart receiver, which to me should make and what makes him a gem in this draft, because he's played the quarterback position. Now, whether he was great at it or not, to me, is not the difference. The fact that he's played the quarterback and seen the field from a quarterback's perspective and knows what a quarterback wants and how he wants to set the route is why, in large part, he was the playmaker that he was for San Jose State. Period. 6'3", and he's 6'3", 195. Perfect height, perfect weight, I think, for a receiver. Just to give you some of his and that's why his rushing yards was the way it was. He was a dual threat quarterback. He almost threw for 1,000 yards in 2021. Had 74 completions, 138 attempts. He was completing 54% of his passes, just about 53.6 to be exact. Had 971 yards, 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, had a 50%, touchdown to interception ratio, had a total pass rating 122. That's not bad. So he knows how to see a defense, exactly what a quarterback wants, how to sit in the routes. Very smart guy. A dual threat quarterback, meaning that he can run. He's fast, obviously, athletic enough to make the transition to receiver. Um, I think he's a gem. He has to be, just me, finding this more about this young man, right? He has to be on a lot of people's big boards right now. Has to be. Um, and maybe they're trying to keep him quiet because a playoff team, right, somebody in the playoffs right now making a push for the Super Bowl is looking at this young man like, we need to get him. Let him slip to us. And there's a couple of top teams that could benefit from him. And like I said, if I was one of those top teams that's trying to get a quarterback like Cleveland, I would be trying to look for trading into the late first round with a team to try to get a Nick Nash. Um, if I'm going to get a quarterback, or one of these teams that needs a quarterback in the first 10 picks, particularly the Giants, I would be looking to trade with somebody, in those later rounds, 20 and back, and giving up some capital to try to get me a Nick Nash. I definitely would. This is a very smart receiver, a very underrated one. He's definitely going to make the transition, I believe so. And I think he could go in there right now and play. I think he can go to the NFL right now and play. Very smart receiver. That's rare to come by. Pretty cool for me to find out about that with y'all. And look, he's routing them up with Truckin. That's my first guy. All right. Second guy, I think it might take y'all by a little bit of surprise, because these are not just the top receivers. So some of these guys are at the top of the list, but some of these guys are guys I think that is going to make the transition for the NFL, hidden gems, right? Another California guy, Kyle Williams from Washington State. 6 foot, 186 pounds. This is particularly the guy I was talking about we need for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Somebody who's not as tall enough, but can be a multiple threat in the defense. And Kyle Williams absolutely can. Can't wait to see him run and see what he's running in the 40. He had 1,198 yards this season, 14 touchdowns, average 17 yards per catch, meaning that it was a deep threat. And they absolutely tried to take that away from him. Started off his career at UNLV, finished up at Washington State. I definitely think he's probably be coming out, definitely a hidden gem. And the thing I like about him, another one of his receivers, is you can see the progression on him, right? You could see the progression on him. His last year in the UNLV is why he largely chose to play with Cam Ward in 2023, because it don't look like he was being utilized a lot. Ricky White III had popped up that year. He was the number one receiver in UNLV, and I'm guessing that's probably why I popped up on the scene around then. Really start getting going. He's always been a deep threat, so he's big enough and strong enough, and he's tough. And Kyle Williams is a tough receiver. 6 foot, 86 pounds. Um, he's a receiver that you can throw it to in the middle of the field and make some moves, or he'll take that slant to the house. And this is exactly the guy. Threat from all over the field with some nice speed, man. And that's exactly the guy that we need, man. Exactly the guy. He had only 17 carries in his whole career for 72 yards and no touchdowns rushing. He averaged 6 yards per carry this year. Um, Means that he's good on jet sweeps. This is a fast guy. And I think that this is a guy that most definitely will translate over to the NFL and is a gem at receiver. And there's a lot of them. There is a lot of them. I probably could have did 10 for each category. You know what I'm saying? And but I'm only doing 5. But he's one of those guys out there with over 1,000 only. And then check this out. He's over 1,000, right? With only 70 receptions. That's something to hold. So every time he touched the ball was almost a house call, you could say, right? Was getting active with it, was getting at it, man. Gotta take it to the house, but that's another one of them guys I'm routing it up with Truckin. That's Kyle Williams, man. Kyle Williams. Excuse me. Excuse the background real quick. Doing some cleaning. You know how it is around here. That wife doing some cleaning. That's okay. Another guy, Coleman Owen, no pitcher, played for the Ohio Bobcats, right receiver. Yes, I know in the MAC. And I got a MAC receiver up here because skill positions, I think, like I always say, skill positions from the G5 over to the Power 5 or the Group of 6 over to the Power 4, however you want to say it, right? These guys, I think, can make the transition easier, right? Because when you're playing a skill position, I think the transition is easier than it is to play against you coming from being a top-notch Group of 5 lineman going into the Power 5, going into the SEC or the Big Ten, going against one of those blue chip, big 6'5", 300-pound prospects. It's a different level. You know what I mean? I think it's a different level for anybody, and sometimes the transition can hurt. But I think skill position guys, cornerbacks, right, receivers, running backs have an easier time transitioning. And I think I'm pushing it with running backs and linebackers. But you get what I'm saying, right? Receivers, cornerbacks, safeties. I think the transition is easier for those type of skill position guys, even to the NFL. But none other, Coleman Owen, senior right now from Ohio, 5'11", 191 pounds. Another one of those type of guys, I think, that can open up the whole field from Arizona. This year, he has 78 receptions, 1,245 yards, 8 touchdowns, another average 16 yards per catch, and 78 receptions, 1,200 yards. In the MAC, grant that. I give you that. In the MAC, but he did not come from the MAC. He started at NAU, an idea. And see, so he's already made the transition up a level, right? And to the MAC, and absolutely went out there and did his thing. Did not miss a beat, and begin progressing every year, getting better every year, staying on track, getting better every year. That's what you want to see. You don't want to see somebody who's not keeping up with their stats, you know what I mean, and falling off. You want to see somebody that's consistent in their stats. I think that tells a little bit more about a player when you look at their stats and you read into the stats, give it a little bit of context into it, not just reading off numbers, but actually seeing that they're progressing with their stats. Their stats are consistent every year, or they're getting more yards a year, getting more touchdowns. You want to see that, right? And that's exactly what has been going on. He's been pretty consistent with his touchdown ratio, his yards per catch, his yards throughout his career. And that's what you want to see. And then finally, of course, this was his best year. Wind up being one of the main go-to guy or a playmaker for Ohio, for the Ohio Bobcats, right? Um, that's what you want to see out of a guy like him. And that's why I got him on this list. It's just so you know, because I think that he's one of those guys who you can grab late in the draft, and that could be an asset to your team, whether it's on special teams or if you want to get him out there on the field. I think this is one of those guys, man. Got to start letting these rookies get on the field early, man. The receivers, especially when they're hungry like this and they know what they're doing. But this guy's one of my favorites. This next guy, he's one of my favorites. Yes, y'all already know Xavier Restrepo. I absolutely like this tough. Spanish cat. I don't know if he's Spanish. I don't know if it's Restrepo Spanish or is it Italian. Um, but he's 5'10", 198 pounds. Perfect. 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 Leading receiver in the SEC. And the ACC got, oh man, you talking about Meeks, Pena, Rhonda Gatson. There is so many guys. What was his name? Jacoby from the receiver from Louisville. Another one of those guys. Nonetheless, just another one of those guys, man. And Ja'Cory Brooks. It's Ja'Cory Brooks, Gatson, Alec Anomayer, Trevor Pena, Jackson Meeks, Xavier Restrepo, all those guys, and those guys just are the ACC, right? Say what you want about the ACC. We know they were horrible this year, but they got some receivers out there. Right? Now, Restrepo, 69 receptions, only 69 receptions, 1,127 yards, 11 touchdowns. It was averaging 16 yards per catch. With Cam Ward, of course, being there, the leading receiver in the ACC, I think he'll probably be coming off fast, and he's gotten better since last year. Stats gotten better last year. His yards per catch has went up every year, I would say. 2021, he had 24 receptions, 22, 21 receptions. And he stayed down with Miami the whole entire time. The whole entire time. Didn't switch. That right there, I think you got to look at and say, okay, he stayed down, hard worker, stayed put in a system, developed, and now is possibly going to be a force to be reckoned with. So throughout his career, he had 200 receptions, 2,844 yards, average 14.2 yards per catch, 21 touchdowns receiving. Passed the ball, I think, one time. Returning, he also could return the ball. Didn't do it this year at all because he was important to this team this year. So that's why they didn't, they were like, we're going to let somebody else do that. We're not going to put Restrepo back there, but he does have experience with returning the rock. Nonetheless, I think that Restrepo is a receiver who's ready to go right now to the NFL and definitely start on somebody's roster right now. Right now. 5'10", 198 pounds. He's ready to go right now. Right now. That's a nice size running back right there. That got hands. Tough. He's tough as nails. Excellent playmaker on the field. His vision on the field is like no other. I mean, you want to talk, you want to talk route running. Got it. Check. Want to talk hands? Check. You want to talk smarts, intelligence? Does he know how to see the field? Check. Knows how to sit in between the zones. It's going to be a absolute treasure to whatever team picks Xavier Restrepo up. And these guys that I'm putting on this board are guys who are slipping in the draft. These are guys who are slipping in the draft, who has slipped in the draft. These are not guys who are looked at as coming out in the first round. Even with Nick Nash being the leading receiver in all stats in college football, is still looked at to be picked up in the later rounds, third round pick. Xavier Restrepo is also looked at as being a late first round pick. I gotta he's in that category. Like, some people may not feel like a Jackson Meeks, Xavier Restrepo, Ja'Cory Brooks are not in that realm with guys, Emeka Egbuka, Luther Burden. How can they not be in those realms, right? But they have some of the same traits and possibly do some of those same traits even better. And possibly because he had Xavier Restrepo has everything you want a receiver to have. Everything, right? And yet you can still sit here and say, and somebody could tell you, well, he's no Mbuka. He's not Emeka Mbuka from us. I said, no, he's not. Emeka Mbuka is a playmaker also. Very shifty guy. Um, and I would say he's a little bit more, shiftier than Restrepo, but I would say Restrepo is just a straight hit after he catches the ball, get north south. Let's go. Get it going. He could turn on the Jets too. So these guys, and I evaluated these guys in the preseason before the season started, and from my evaluations with their traits, Xavier Restrepo absolutely is on the top with those traits, with all the traits that a receiver that they're looking for a receiver to have, and at the next level, he possesses all of them. Same thing to Luther Burton, just Travis Hunters. He has the traits. Playmaking to me and awareness, I'll take above the 50-50 ball and being able to jump out the jump. I'll take that. If you can make plays and your awareness is smart, I'll take that. Playmaking ability is what you're going to need a lot of in the NFL. And besides Nick Nash knowing how to sit in those same pockets and have the 50-50 ball skills that he has, and he's not looked at as being a first round, is beyond me. Because he has everything also. So let's not forget that. And Restrepo can run a route very cleanly. Very cleanly. It's why he's get open, right? It's why he gets open. Another guy. Moving on. Now, Trey Harris, injuries hurt him. And his journey reminds me of George Pickens' journey college. Because George Pickens got injured, but still wound up getting drafted. But he slipped into the second round to us. And the late second because of his injury. And Trey Harris, I think he's going through that same exact thing. He's 6'3", 210 pounds. Trey Harris is going to be a beast. Period. Point blank. Period. Point blank. Trey Harris is going to be a beast. His route running is, he's a possession type of guy. I think he's going to be at the next level. I don't think that he's just going to run past anybody in the defense, but he's definitely got the playmaking ability. His route running is up there. He has soft hands. He's reliable hands. He's only got 60 receptions on the season. And at the time, he was up there leading the whole NCAA in catches. If he had not gotten hurt, Trey Harris probably, and I can probably make the argument that Ole Miss probably would have made a way better run had they had Trey Harris at wide receiver. A lot of people said, oh, they had Junkins. No, I would say that if they had Trey Harris healthy, they would have played. It would have been a lot better. From Louisiana, by the way, Trey Harris is 6'3", 210, 60 receptions, 1,030 yards, 7 touchdowns, average 17 yards per catch. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Hear me? Trey Harris, man, beast. Started off at Louisiana Tech, by the way. Then Ole Miss seen him. Lane Kiffin seen him and said, I got to get this dude. He's unreal. Back shoulder catches. Can contort. And he's big, but he's nimble. Oh man, and he's stronger, can block. I would love to see him with the Steelers. I would love to see Trey Harris with the Steelers, because I honestly do believe that Mbuka's probably going to get picked up before the 22nd pick. I wouldn't be mad at either one of them, but I do think that he'll probably be gone before the 22nd pick. I think somebody's going to grab him before us. I honestly do. I honestly think that somebody will grab Mbuka before he gets to us at 22. So if that happens, I would, hands down, I would spend that 22nd pick on Nick Nash. Nick Nash, he's the guy, man. Nick Nash is the guy to me. I would take him, but Trey Harris, more about Trey Harris and his stats for his career: 220 receptions, 3,542 yards. Like I said, average 16 yards per catch, 29 touchdowns on his career. He's rushed back in 2022. They didn't run him a lot in Ole Miss at all. But look, man, he's an absolute beast, stud. It's absolute stud, man. And I think all these guys are studs, right? I do. But and I love Restrepo. I love Restrepo, right? So, but you went to height first, right? Um, Route running and height. But if I had to rank these guys, right, I have to say I have to have a 1A and 1B, right? With the list I just gave. My 1A would be Nick Nash because he's played quarterback and had the quarterback experience, so knows exactly what a quarterback is looking for, and he knows that lingo at receiver. That is rare. I want smart over anything. I want somebody smart that is going to work and willing to progress and get better every year, and that's what Nick Nash has shown. Not only has the stats to prove it, but he's shown that. And he showed the non-selfishness and an understanding of, I'm okay, quarterback, I'll switch over to wide receiver. That, oh my goodness, man. Great. 1A. 1B. Xavier Restrepo. No, Restrepo does not have the fastest. No, he's not the fastest or whatever. Excuse me, my screen froze. That's back. Um, but Restrepo absolutely has that route running ability and playmaking ability that I love. And he's smart also, right? He can get up a little bit, but I don't think he's snatching nothing out of the sky like a Trey Harris or a Nick Nash, right? Then I got to go Trey Harris, number 2, right? Then, and that's largely because of everything I said, because, him on the other side of George Pickens, any of these guys on the other side of George Pickens would be crazy, by the way, anyway. But Trey Harris, forget about it, right? Forget about it. Trey Harris, a beast. Then I will say Kyle Williams from Washington State, beast. Then we got to go Coleman Owen from Ohio Bobcats, beast, man, absolute beast. I apologize for my screen freezing. Get it fixed. I saw. I just had to refresh it. But and, but that's all, man. And those are the reasons why I like those guys. And you just was routing them up with Truckin routing them up. These are my guys, 5 guys, hidden gems in the draft. I like them. I think that they'll be available because they're underrated until they run their 40s. 40s change everything. 40s change everything for these coaches. Once these coaches see these guys run that 40, it's going to be, oh my God, look at the way he ran that 40. He ran that 40 like a, and that's what it's going to be, man. So none other, man. But I appreciate everybody, man. Thank you for giving me our time. Appreciate it. Peace. Bye. Here.